Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Let's talk about 10 things every man should know. Doesn't have to necessarily just do with your everyday carry. This is kind of like some life type stuff as well. I've done a couple of these videos in the past. Let's expand upon that. I guess we're technically at 30 things every man should know. Any of those previous videos, you can more than welcome to go check it out. But number one has to be selecting the correct tool for the job. I'm not just talking about everyday carry type of stuff, whether it's a multi-tool, a pocket knife, should you use a bottle cap lifter, do you need a slotted screwdriver. I'm also talking about power tools. When do you need one? Are you going to strip that tool out? You make yourself not look as crazy when you're using the appropriate tool for the job. Putting together IKEA furniture, you probably don't need that impact drill. Vice versa, you're going to be doing some demo work on some tile around your fireplace. Either rent yourself an SDS, whether it's a Max or a Plus or whatever, or you can go old school with a chisel and a hammer. But selecting the right tool for the job saves you time. It can save you money. It can save you embarrassment because you look like you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's the number one thing that every man should know, but it also has to do with emotion. So I just talked about the physical things, selecting the right tool for the job. Also emotionally, how to deal with other people, whether it's your teenage daughter, your toddlers, your spouse. Selecting the right tool for the job works as well. When to be firm, when to be empathetic, when to be affectionate. Those are all tools in your toolbox. You learn those throughout the years. As I get late in my late 30s, I've developed that more and more and more. But the second thing, I would say, the number two thing that a man should know with confidence is to know your drink and how to order it immediately. When I say immediately, I mean without hesitation. Are you an old-fashioned type of person? You like your Moscow mules? You like your Jameson on the rocks? As soon as you're asked, whether by a buddy, a bartender, a waitress, hey, what are you drinking today? It should roll off your tongue. You should know your drink. It eludes confidence. The people around you, whether you're dating, you're with your buddies, or you're by yourself. Order your drink, exactly know what you want. You don't hesitate. It speaks to you. It speaks to the type of person that you are. And even if you're not a drinker per se, hey, I want a seltzer immediately. I want pickle juice. If you're a weirdo like that, you want sparkling water, you may want mineral water. Maybe you want some juice. I don't know. But whatever you drink, whatever you enjoy, order it immediately without hesitation. You shouldn't be flipping through there. Oh, well, what do you have? Oh, I've never heard of that before. If you order it, the bartender can't do it. It speaks about the establishment. It says nothing about you. Know your drink and order it without hesitation. The next one I've talked about before, but now I'm going to transition this over a little bit more. How to jumpstart a car. Now, when I talked about this before, I talked about the old school jumper cables where you got the red and you got the black and you hook it up to the car that's running first and you do this and you do that. I talked about all that type of stuff. But now I'm transitioning away. I actually only own one pair of jumper cables and they're literally for super emergency situations. I own those little battery packs that AvaPower, I own one. There's one in my wife's vehicle. I love those things. They're fantastic. I no longer have to hook my vehicle directly up to someone else's vehicle and worry about my alternator getting all jacked up or my subwoofers or any other electronics that I have inside the vehicle. Nonetheless, old school or new school, you should know how to jump a car. Do not depend on AAA. Do not depend on your insurance. You may be stuck out there for hours. You may have no cell phone signal. You should have the basics of knowing how to get your car back started. There's some other things you should know how to do with your vehicle. Keep some duct tape just in case you got a fender that goes flapping in the wind while you're going down the road. Know how to refill your radiator and not get it all over yourself when your vehicle's scalding hot. Those little things you can learn as well. Of course, changing a tire. All those go without being said. But the number one thing that happens a lot, you forget to turn off some lights, you leave a radio running too long, you fall asleep in your car, your vehicle needs a little jump start. You should know how to do those things. I can't believe the number of people that don't know how to do it. This summer, when it comes to my 15-year-old daughter, next summer when she's 16, it is the summers of learning how to do stuff for herself as a woman, but as a man, you definitely should know how to do this stuff because if you don't, you look a little weird. Number 4, every man should know how to parallel park and drive a stick shift. These are two things, but I'm putting them as one because I think they're just that important. When I did my driving test, I didn't have a driver's permit before 18. I literally turned 18. The next day I went to the DMV, took the driving test, and I passed it. I wish I could have had a driving permit at 15 and 16. My family couldn't afford all that. Because in Texas, to do that, you got to spend money. But I passed. You know what I failed? There was two parts of my driving test I failed. Number one, the parallel parking portion. In Texas, they put two literal, a 5-gallon bucket filled with cement and a pole sticking out of it, two of them, and you have to parallel park between them. I didn't want to hit the bucket with my mom's car. I was testing in her car, plus I just wasn't good at parallel parking. The second thing I failed at was putting your hand on the seat next to you and turning your head fully around when you're going in reverse. I just used the mirrors because I'm a G like that. I still do that to this day. I failed two things on my driving test, but I still passed. But you know what? If you can't parallel park and you can't drive a stick shift, you're doing yourself a disservice. There's gonna be cities, scenarios, weddings, events, whatever, when you have to squeeze your truck, your car, your Mazda Miata, your motorcycle into a parallel park situation. You don't wanna look crazy not being able to do it. I did it just recently. I was going to a coffee shop. I threw my 2015 GMC Sierra with a standard bed, which is 6 feet 6 inches, not a short bed, with a full size cab, parallel parked it like a G, got out, closed the door. The lady was like, that was impressive. I didn't think you'd be able to park a truck like that. I said, lady, get your gut, pull your panties up. I understand I just impressed you, but calm down. But it also means that you need the ability to drive a stick shift. A couple of reasons. One, you know how to drive a stick shift. A lot of other people don't. You have to worry about people trying to borrow your shit because they can't drive it. Two, there's a lower likelihood that your vehicle's stolen. Listen, a thief's going to be a thief. When there's an inability by someone to drive a specific aspect of your vehicle, they're just going to avoid it, So if your vehicle is missing a steering wheel, unless they brought one with them, they're not going to steal the vehicle. Same kind of goes with the stick shift. It kind of makes it that much better. I think that sometimes even still having a stick shift on some dealers, not all dealerships, but some dealerships, stick shifts may cost less because they don't move as often as fully automatic vehicles. So driving a stick shift, super important. Learn those two things, get your manhood right. The next one has to be starting a fire, not just starting a fire with a lighter. Yes, you should know how to use a lighter, but I'm talking about the components of a fire: tinder, kindling, and fuel. Tinder, the small dry twigs that you use to try to get a fire started, whether you're rubbing some sticks together or you're trying to use different methods, using a magnifying glass, whatever. You need tinder for that. Kindling, the longer, thicker branches that help get the fire going. And then fuel. When the fire is fully going, to keep it going, larger logs, larger sticks, stuff like that. How to get a fire started, how to maintain a fire. It can be helpful for you. It can be helpful for camping situations. It can be helpful for survival situations. You should know how to start a fire. Even when you have matches and a lighter, if you don't understand those three concepts, your fire is not going to work. It's not going to work. You're going to start off with fuel and you're going to try to figure out, well, why is it not starting? It's wood. It's because it's too big, you freaking idiot. Make sure you bring it back up to the top and you crawl, walk, run your way to the bottom. Number 6, properly lighting a cigar. Now, before we talk about that, if you're getting good content out of this, hit the like button, subscribe as well to the channel. Listen, I'm just doing this for fun and games. Don't take offense to any of these if you don't know how to do them. I'm just talking and shooting the shit. But properly lighting a cigar, even if you don't smoke, it's pretty impressive being able to light a cigar. You saw me do it at the very beginning. You bring the flame to it beforehand. You hit the foot with it a little bit. You twirl the flame around the foot a little bit. You bring it to your mouth, you puff, you blow, all that type of stuff. Knowing how to light a cigar could be impressive to the ladies, to your buddies, real cool vibes. Maybe you're going to be a groomsman at a wedding. One time in your life, you're going to smoke a stick, know how to light it up. You're going to feel real good about yourself. Thank me later. Number 7, know your woman's dress size. Okay, if you're married, you know, okay? If you know, you know. If you know your woman's dress size, it gets you all sorts of brownie points. More opportunities to go 20 toes with her because you were able to get a deal on something that you know that she would like. I know my woman's dress size. Very attractive woman that I have, shaped like a Coke bottle, and I want to make sure if I find a deal on a dress or whatever the case may be, I can buy it and stick her fine ass in it. Know your woman's dress size. It will get you brownie points. Number 8, find your way out of the woods. Okay, there is a possibility you can get, a whole way taken situation, thrown in the trunk, put a little blindfold on you, put you in the middle of the woods. Or you go into a long scenario, your car breaks down, you're in the middle of the national park or something like that. You're not on the beaten path. How are you going to get out the woods? You're using landmarks, mountains, power lines. You know, power lines are man-made. Follow some power lines that might help you get out the woods. Watching the sun, understanding how the sun rises, how it sets. Those are some key indicators as well. I've talked about this plenty of times before. Wear an analog watch. Love my digital watches. Those are in second place. Bringing up the rear is a smart watch. But an analog watch used properly can help you figure out which way is south. And then obviously the opposite direction is north. And then that can help you find your way out the woods as well. Last case scenario, follow creeks and rivers and all the other type of shit. But finding your way out the woods, big man flex, get yourself to safety. Number 9, you should be able to do very, very basic first aid. I see a lot of EDC kits where people have IFAKs, individual first aid kits, or they may have an emergency first aid kit, tourniquets, and I'm like, do you even know how to use that stuff? I see you practicing a lot with your boomstick. I'm very confident that you're going to know how to use your boomstick in an emergency scenario, but how to apply basic first aid might be important. I've rolled up on car accidents where I just had to help somebody with their arm. Very, very simple, but that was helpful. The other day, I let some of my younger cousins ride both of my electronic bikes. One of them completely lost it going 22 miles an hour on my bike. He was able to save his head, but he scraped up his entire side. He scraped his arm all the way to the white meat. I know how to do first aid. We didn't have to go to a clinic or anything like that. We took care of it right here in the man cave. His dad, my cousin, so this is my second cousin, my first cousin is his dad. He didn't know what to do. He was just standing around making jokes. It's like, oh man, at least it wasn't your head, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, your son is bleeding to the white meat there. Let's knock that type of stuff out. So first aid is very important. The last thing, number 10, cleanliness is next to godliness. Even if you don't believe in God and all that other type of stuff, staying clean in two different scenarios, your actual body. Okay, there's a lower likelihood you get to go 20 toes with the person that you love or the person you're trying to get with. If you're pits or if you got BO, if you don't know how to clean right, you're not moisturized, whatever. So keeping yourself clean. Number 2, your environment. Okay, listen, the way that you keep your house is very important to your health. It can draw bugs, it can draw animals, it can draw disease, it can just be unhygienic, not clean. Those two things are not attractive to people that you may be trying to have come into your life, whether it could be a woman, a man, whatever your flavor is. But as a man, you should know how to keep clean. Now, as a saved round, the woman's dress size, if you also know her shoe size, guaranteed for her to bust it open. Comment down below, what am I missing from my list of 10 things that every man should know? I would love to know what your comments down below. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, hit the Discord. I would love to have you part of the Discord. I'm not talking to you because you've already subscribed, but the Discord, we would love to have you a part of as well. Let me get back to work. I got, there's some man shit I need to do as well. We will speak soon.